This conference will now be recorded.
Well, hello again. It's Dr. David Hargroder, and I am here with another special guest. Marsha, you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
I'm Marsha Hawkins. I had surgery June 30th of 2021. It's almost 4 years. Prior to the surgery, I had ballooned up to 265, and it freaked me out when I was closer to 300 than 200. So I got the surgery, and I lost 110. Um, I've had a very stressful 6 months, so I've kind of put back on 10 pounds, but I'm in a new frame of mind. I lost my daddy, and I kind of reverted back to my old food habit
Sure.
as a comfort, I guess.
Right,
But
right.
I'm I'm back on track. So
Good. And having had the surgery, hopefully it'll make getting back on track and dropping those pounds again a little bit easier. Uh,
right,
I will tell you, this surgery is really good about allowing people to hold their weight and not have a lot of weight regain. But the patients that do have some weight regain, like a significant amount more than what I'd be comfortable with, you can almost always trace it back to some serious stressor, you
right.
know, like a death in the family or
Mhm.
of severe financial problems, a divorce, those sort of things. So
Right.
the one thing that I would encourage you is if it doesn't turn around and you're trying to figure out how to get that weight off, don't hesitate to reach out to me and let me know because we want to
Okay.
keep you on that right track.
Well, yeah. Here's my. Can you see my before and after? I don't know if you can see that. And then another
Oh,
non-scale
wow.
thingy. I
So
just
that
got
was,
my new driver's license, and look at the difference. Can you see those? Anyway, I just can't sing your praises enough. In 4 years that I've kept this off,
oh,
it's
it was perfect, and then it got a little worse when you started showing the pictures. So
oh
the first picture you showed was your kind of a before and after. Uh,
yes,
that was,
yeah,
and we saw it, so that was great.
yeah. That was
So
I was wearing 24s, and then I got down to I'm wearing 12s, 10s or 12s usually. But
what was it that prompted you? Like, what got you thinking about weight loss surgery in the first
well,
place?
I've been chunky my whole life, farm girl here, and two of my good friends, their sister-in-laws, the Langleys. They one of them goes to my church, and I was looking at her, and she had just got modeled thin, and I was like, all right, what the heck are you doing? And so she had been telling me about the surgery for about a year, and I was like, I'm not having surgery, I can do it. Well, I gained another 20 pounds, and so I finally, my husband and I talked about it, and I said, it's a lot of money. And he said, well, if we had, we didn't have the money right then, but he said, you know what, if we needed a new car, we'd make payments. So he was ready to help me make payments on my health, and my parents were real encouraging, and so
That's
I bit the
awesome.
bullet and did it, and I
Had
just
you
can't be happier.
had you tried any other methods? Like had you jumped on the GLP-1 bandwagon or anything like that?
No, I
Or was
I
that a
don't
little
even know if that
before?
was, yeah, that was before. I've
Yeah,
done
we were
Weight
talking.
Watchers, I did the fin, I've done, low carbs.
Right.
No, yeah, you name it, I've tried it, and a little bit successful. I would lose 40 pounds and then turn around and gain back 50 pounds or 60. So it just it wasn't fixed up here,
Right.
and
Right.
then with the surgery, I wasn't able to overeat, so that helped, and then it allowed me to get my mind fixed.
Yeah.
So it's
How do you feel? What do you think is some of the biggest changes that have occurred in your day-to-day life that like just jump out at you as far as, how things are different now than they were 4 years ago?
I'm a lot more confident. you know, when I just silly things like when I do the laundry and I pull out my jeans and think, I cannot believe I can get in these little jeans instead of
Uh-huh.
the big ones. And at my church, you know, I've gotten up and getting in front of people, whereas before I would just hide and not want to do anything. And I mean, I'd almost become a hermit. I just wouldn't go places. My husband he went to weddings and funerals by himself, and you know, and I wouldn't go to ball games because I didn't want people to see me, which is silly because you know,
Yeah. Was
and,
it
and
was
then
it em-
yeah.
was it more so embarrassment or more so I have aches and pains and just don't feel like getting out? What would be a
Oh,
more accurate description?
embarrassed. I was
Yeah.
depressed and mad at myself, and so then I would go home and eat as if I were eating in secret. That didn't count, you know. So, and my husband was very supportive. He never, you know, ever said, "God, you're fat, quit," you know. Because I mean, I gained 120 pounds after we got married, you know,
Yeah.
through the years, and he was never that way. And so he was very supportive, and my parents were very supportive. And my mom was so excited. She said, "I've got my daughter back," you know. And I'd go to ball games, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can sit in these seats and not have fat, you know, hanging over." And my
Yeah.
son and I went to Ireland last year, and I was on the plane. I was like, "Look," and I didn't have to pull the seatbelt all the way out, and I could
Right.
just, you know, so just little things like that just are. And then we share meals a lot, you know, just because I can't eat a whole lot, and used to it was like I know when my husband we laugh when we were dating, I would eat like half a sandwich and give him half, and then after we got married and I started gaining weight, it's like you can't even have a chip, get off my plate, you know. So now it's back to sharing. So
Right. Right.
that's neat. And just the fact that I like to go places now and put on club. And you know, in my mind, I know when I first went shopping with my mom, I walked in and immediately went to the plus size, and she said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm gonna go see if I find something." She said, "Well, you don't have to shop over there anymore." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't."
Isn't that
So, you know,
neat?
just
Yeah.
little things like that. And it's just it's fun to it's a lot more fun to buy a medium or a large shirt than a 3X, you know.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, I hear so many patients talk
Mm,
about that, out there living life
yeah.
instead of sitting on the sidelines watching life go by.
Exactly.
Sounds like
Right.
you're really
Yeah.
really taking life by the horns and really engaging it. So that's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. Were there any
Yeah.
health benefits? I don't remember did you have any comorbidities like high blood pressure or sleep
Oddly,
apnea, anything like that?
I did have sleep apnea. I don't have to use the PAP thingy anymore. Oddly enough, my blood pressure has not gone down. I'm still taking a blood pressure medicine, but my
Yeah.
cholesterol is like 130 now. You know,
Oh,
and
well, we
all my
do
blood.
warn patients. We do warn patients, blood pressure is one of
Mhm,
those about 70 to 75% of our patients get off their blood pressure medicine.
mhm.
But I always warn patients, if you've got skinny parents that have high blood pressure, or if
Right.
you had high blood pressure even when you were thin before you gained weight, you're less likely to get off of your medicines. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Both
if
my
taking
parents had it. So
yeah, so that's unfortunate, but hey, it's
yeah. But
still you're
that's fine. I can
take
live
a
with it.
blood
And then
pressure pill every day. That's okay.
that's right. I can do that. And I take my pro probio. I can't even think.
Probiotics, yep,
Yeah,
and
I take those every
multivitamins.
day, and yeah, so I'm good with that. I'm fine. So
Awesome. Are there any surprises? Anything unexpected that like you didn't realize after surgery this would be a benefit? Something you hadn't even thought about?
the stairs. I just at my courthouse. It's only I mean, yeah, but 2 floors, and I
Right.
would take the elevator because I didn't want to go into the courtroom. 'Cause I help on an alternative court program. I didn't want to walk in the courthouses, you know, huffing and puffing. And now it's like, whoop. The last time I was at court, I had to go up and down on like 4 different times to go get things, and I was like, oh my gosh, I never could have done this before. So
Yeah.
you know, little things like that that just you know
There was
It,
a study that came out a number of years ago, and one of the things that impressed me about this medical study that came out is that very seldom in a medical study do you ever see 100% results. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
But this particular study looked at cardiac function, how well your heart pumps, how efficiently your heart pumps blood and oxygen throughout your body, right?
mm-hmm,
And this study showed that within the first year, 100% of patients had a dramatic improvement in
wow.
the function of their heart. So, what you're experiencing by being able to run up and down those stairs
Mm-hmm.
more easily is your heart pumping oxygen throughout your body more effectively and efficiently than it did prior to surgery. So that's
Wow.
a pretty neat.
Yeah.
Uh, you've said your friends and your family and everybody's been real supportive. Has
Yes.
anything in terms of relationships there? Would you say those relationships have improved? Is there any significant change either with immediate family or friends?
Well,
Anything
just
change there?
my friend, just the fact that I want to go somewhere now. My two best friends they've just always been little bitty. I mean, we've been friends since we was 14, and I look back at high school pictures because I thought I was so fat. I weighed maybe 130 pounds in high school, but they weighed like 105. So,
Right.
you know, and so now I go and they're still, 120, 125, but it
But
doesn't,
you're
I
right
go
there
out.
with them now.
Yeah, so we go do whatever we want to do, and so and that's and they're encouraging. They're they, oh, Marcia, you
Yeah.
look great, and da da da, so that's neat that because when I got so fat, I was like, I'm not going with you all. I need to find some fat ugly friends. But anyway, so
Is there something you wish you would have known before surgery that would have made the journey any easier?
I wish I'd have done it 15 years before I did it.
Yeah.
Um, I think everybody has that hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
Yeah. Now, getting off of Coke, that's that's I'm kind of a Coca and I'm in Coca-Cola. I have to be
Yeah,
careful because I
right.
work with drug court people. Oh, Coke, So, and that was funny too because all of my people when they all lose weight, was like we UA them. so when I showed up with losing a lot of weight, they're like, oh, we've got to UA you now, Miss Marcia. So that was kind of fun. Yeah, that was funny. So,
Yeah,
but
man. Well, what do you
yeah,
think as far as if you had advice for somebody looking into this? Do you have any words of wisdom for someone that's been through it?
I say do it. The only thing you have to lose are the pounds, the inches, and your low self-esteem. It's definitely worth doing. The money, you know what? I've wasted a lot of money on a lot of stupid things, and this was the best thing that it was definitely worth it. Definitely
Yeah.
worth it. Just my mental, and I've got a brother that's he's like, oh my gosh, he can't, because he was always kidding me. So Marcia, just walk to your mailbox, or what are you 3X now? And so we joke around. Well, now it's reversed. Now he's a little chunky, and I'm
Uh-huh.
not. So I'm like, oh, do you want my old 3X's? So but he's so proud of me, and so it's just neat to be encouraged and people be so proud of me, and so
Yeah. Well, I
and I'm
can
proud
just
of
tell.
myself.
I can tell talking to
So,
you. You just seem like you're
yeah.
full of energy and like you're
Yeah.
feeling really good. So that's awesome.
Man. I just need to get rid of these wrinkles now. so so
Hey,
with the fat I had, your natural Botox. So
uh-huh, uh-huh. I've
but
been seeing commercials for that stuff on TV. You just paint it on and
I
it just
know.
magically makes everything
I,
disappear. So
I
maybe
know.
that'll work.
May have to try that. but
Well, you look great.
I can live with the wrinkles. So
Oh, you look
I'm
fantastic.
62. I've earned them.
Hopefully you're feeling as good as you're looking.
I'm feeling great. I feel great. And I just can't say enough good about you and Sherry and uh, Carla. You know,
Yeah.
it's
We got a
been
pretty
great.
darn good team. I do.
You
I
do,
think
you
that's
do.
great.
And my husband
Really.
and I, we didn't get to go this year, but we went last year to the Christmas thing and just seeing everybody, and that was
Yeah.
really neat. So I'm looking forward to that again this year.
All right.
So,
Well, we'll be doing it again this year. So hopefully you'll be
all
able
right.
to come.
Yeah.
All right, Marsha. Well, listen, I
Okay.
appreciate you taking time
Yeah.
with me. We're going to be
Yeah.
posting this on our YouTube channel eventually.
Okay.
Hopefully, in the
Okay.
next week or two, it'll come out. So you can kind of be on the lookout for it. If you don't hear from us or you don't see it up there, in the
Okay.
next few weeks, check in and I'll let you know when
All
it's
right.
going to be coming up. All
Okay.
right. Thank you,
Thanks.
Marsha,
Good to
again.
talk to you.
You
Thank
have a
you.
great day.
You
Bye.
too.